Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Just Talking About Sports. I'm Ethan.
I'm Matthew.
I'm Luca.
And Matt, what are we doing today?
Talking about sports.
Thank you. This time, Luca can't steal the reign of saying Just Talking About Sports. But today, this is our 33rd episode, I believe, of Just Talking About Sports, where today we're going to be doing our weekly Cubs and White Sox review. And this is our week 2. So we're going to be basically analyzing, I guess, the second week of how the Cubs and White Sox have been doing, and kind of go a little bit more into analysis and how they've been doing. So without further ado, let's get into it.
I am more impressed in the Cubs than I thought I would be at this stage. I expected the Cubs to be a solid 600, 700 team by the end of the season. Definitely figured that they would be a team that you see winning that Central in the National League. They impressed me more than I figured, and I think it's because you got so many big-name hitters. And as we were talking about, the weaknesses, the weak guys like Hayward, that he just hit a 2-run homer about half an hour ago. Like, you guys have balance. That's the big thing for a baseball team. If you have balance, you can succeed. You have guys like Schwarber, Bryant, he's struggling. But, I mean, you got Rizzo, I'm not going to keep going, but you get the idea. You guys have an amazing starting lot 5 of pitchers. Chatwood and Henderson have been playing ridiculously well. Darvish, we're not talking about him, but you kind of get where that's going. Lester played well in his first start. Alec Mills, kid's playing pretty impressive, and then you get a piece like Quintana when he comes back, coming in reserves. He could be a key piece. I don't think he'll start right away. All in all, I'm very impressed. They've played well. Now, whether that's because their schedule hasn't necessarily been the toughest, we can leave that up for debate. I think the Cubs are definitely, considering the rest of their division is absolutely atrocious, the Cubs are definitely winning the NL Central. I have absolutely no doubts about that at all. They just got to be able to stay consistent on the bats, and their bullpen must improve.
Yeah, and you bring a good point here because as we knew before the season was starting, it was going to be some competitiveness in the NL Central, but recently you have Lorenzo Cain of the Milwaukee Brewers. He just opted out of the season, so that just made the Brewers weaker. The Reds, I think, honestly, they're the next strongest component because the Cardinals, they just had Miles Michael a shot. He just got forearm surgery, so their rotation just got hammered on. And then we're not even going to get to the Pirates. Who cares? The point is, the Cubs, the reason why they are like this right now, there's 2 reasons why they're like this. One, they are simply following all the player protocols in which they should be. They're probably one of the healthiest teams right now in the MLB because they're simply doing what they're supposed to be doing. And number 2, I mean, the Cubs don't make the schedule, but they have probably one of the easiest schedules in the league right now. They haven't really faced a bunch of competition. So it has been in their favor as of right now. So unlike the White Sox, what we'll get to. But a couple of notes for the Cubs. One of the players I've been very impressed with so far is Nico Horner, okay? He's playing like a veteran right now. I expected him to spend a little bit more time in the minors as the year progressed, but nope, he started up here. And he surprised me a lot, probably along with several others. I mean, his approach at the plate is refreshing as long as his ability to work counts when it's needed and adjusting to different situations, in which he did, such as hitting that sacrifice fly in the 6th inning against Cincinnati on that Tuesday game. So I thought he did a really good job there. You said it with Alec Mills and even John Lester. They can succeed without all that overpowering stuff. Lester using that cutter and that slope of that curveball, it's just making him effective using on the corners of the plate and getting people to ground out. So it works out there. And then we got to get to the bullpen here, okay? The Cubs have a Craig Kimbrell problem, okay? It's really bad, but
Get rid of him.
It's worse than bad.
It's been bad. That's all you need to know. His ERA is skyrocket. We're not even getting into that. But the bullpen roles as the season so far has progressed, I think they're becoming more defined as Casey Sadler and Dan Winkler. They have moved further into David Ross's circle of trust, in my opinion, with the mainstays of Jeremy Jeffress, Rowan Wick, and Kyle Ryan. But you got bigger questions when it comes to Craig Kimbrell and how he's going to be used in situations because, listen, he gave up 2 home runs to 2 Pirates on 2 pitches. And then he almost gave up the Cincinnati game. That's a disaster, okay? But last but not least, I got to give props where props are due for Tyler Chatwood, okay? he struggled the last 2 seasons as a Cubs starter. And look what he's doing now. He's using that cut fastball, keeping batters off balance and striking them out like crazy. He struck out 11 Pirates the other night, so got to give credit's due.
Alrighty, since obviously you guys have already said a lot about the Cubs so far, and I mean, I didn't get to talk last week because I was enjoying my time in Colorado. But the Cubs, I have to say, have been exactly what I've been basically exceeding my expectations for them, even though, like, cause me being like the doubter of the Cubs, I always thought that, like, I knew they were going to be decent, but I didn't think they're going to be 8-2, basically destroying everyone else in the NL Central, like basically where they are right now. I thought the NL Central was going to be like a 4-way race. We even have our predictions proving it that we thought it was going to be super close. Turns out it's nowhere near that. I mean, it does help that the Cubs are already having pretty much an easy schedule. They swept the Pirates already since the last time you guys talked about. They're basically about to sweep the Royals. I mean, they're up 4-2. Knock on wood. Not going to jinx it just yet.
You already jinxed it. It's too late.
4-game series.
I know, but basically, at least they're going to sweep them at home, and then they have to go play them away in KC, and then the Cubs get to versus the Cardinals, which you guys didn't get to notice that, but I had my little notification pop up. The Cubs are actually going to be able to versus the Cardinals because the Cardinals have been cleared to travel, so the Cubs will be playing, I guess, their first legit team, but they're missing their best players once again. So the Cubs are going to have a little bit a nice, easy, breezy slope to the and basically their schedule until next week, where they're going to be starting to verse the Indians and the Brewers once again. So they're going to have a little bit more competition. But I'm enjoying what the Cubs have been doing. You gave props to, I believe, Nico Horner. I think I got to give props to Yu Darvish. You guys were already hating on him. I mean, he had his rough game the first game, but then he came back and basically redeemed himself and had a pretty legit game against, I'm pretty sure, the Pirates. In his first game back, which, I mean, it's the Pirates, but still he pitched very, very well. And then, I mean, another basic person to give props to is, I mean, Kipnis. I mean, come on. I mean, the guy's been, like, we did lose Castellanos, which I didn't get to talk about in the last game, which he did get his revenge against the Reds. Or basically, when he was, because he's on the Reds now, he basically came and just absolutely obliterated the Cubs in that game. And Castellanos has been on a 12 hitting game, or I don't know how many games they've been playing, but I'm pretty sure he's on a very hot streak of hitting. Like, he's hit a hit basically every game he's played. And it sucks that we did end up trading or basically losing him, but I feel like the players that we picked up, like Kipnis, and having people step up like Horner, I feel like they're going to be able to replace Castellanos' void that he had. And I'm just legit liking the Cubs. The bullpen, like the back of it, is very debatable. It's yucky. You never know what you're going to get every single night, and it's scary to watch. But I feel like it's going to be a little bit, I think, at least as of now, where I think we're looking a little bit better, as I think there's been talks about, you guys said about Kimbrel. Kimbrel's supposed to be moving. He was talking with David Ross about maybe moving him away from the closer spot and into like a reliever spot, and having him pitch like in the middle, which I think is perfect until he proves himself that he can be a closer. And having him pitch earlier, it's a closer pitcher pitching early. I'm totally fine with that, and having him build up his confidence so maybe he's ready for September and October when we get into the later months of the playoffs. So I feel like that as of now, the Cubs have played easy competition. They are leading their division by a ton, but I feel like the Cubs have to basically don't get too cocky or ahead of themselves and continue to work on their pieces that they need, which is the bullpen and maybe a little bit of the hitting with, I guess, Jay Hay, which, I mean, he gave us a little karma, and Chris Bryant, who've need a little bit better hitting. But as of now, I'm liking the Cubs are producing. They're producing W's, and I think they just can keep continuing on.
Okay, 2 things before we move on to the Southsiders. I got 2 things here. When the Cubs recently just signed Cody Allen to a minor league deal. Cody Allen has struggled ever since that 2016 World Series when he was on the Indians. I wonder if he can almost like revitalize his career with the Cubs in some way, maybe bring him up and see what he's got. And the other thing that I don't know if you guys have realized, the Cubs on defense, they are starting to look like the 2016 version of themselves. So keep an eye on that. All right.
Javi Baez is a magician.
He is definitely El Mago. All right, Matt, since you're a White Sox fan, take us away with the White Sox.
All right. Well, the big thing that we talked about last week, they struggled hard at the beginning of the season. You got thrown into a couple of series back-to-back against the Twins. Really were the icing on the cake there. They storm back, and in the recent days, they have been going off. They've won 5 straight games, and they're looking to keep it going. But what I'm really impressed about with Chicago is the White Sox, not the Cubs. is the fact that these guys have been fantastic at hitting the ball. If we look here at their batting averages, there is only one guy, Edwin Encarnacion, who is below 250. And I would like to say right now, consistency is exactly what matters in hitting. You've got Lurie Garcia. This kid came out of nowhere, may I mention. 364. Moncada, 351. Robert, 350. Anderson, 330. Well, you get the point. Abreu's been playing fantastic on the bats. Our pitching has been easy come, easy go. It's been just Giolito is not playing as well as I'd hoped. He's doing okay. Again, would like to see more. Keuchel's playing fantastic. I'm loving every single thing that I'm seeing from Keuchel. There's definitely a lot of things that can still be improved. Overall, though, I'm very impressed with our ability to, after our rough start, we've won 5 straight. We're cruising right now. Hopefully we can keep the momentum going. Not looking great tonight, but we'll see. The Brewers are next for us. We'll see what we can do with them.
Yeah, and Matt, I like how you were mentioning about the Twins here. The White Sox had 2 tough series starting this season. The Cubs, however, did not. They were tested out of the gate playing that series against the Indians and Twins, and those are both elite teams. I mean, the Twins have great pitching. They have great hitting. You already know that. And then the Cleveland Indians, they got a couple of good pitchers. You got Cookie, you got Plesac, and you got, what's that other guy's name? Shane Bieber. He's very good. So Lucas Giolito, he started to look a little bit more elite this past start. He looked a lot better after he got rocked after that first one. And I don't know if it's Robert or Robert. I don't know what it is, but I'm going to call it Robert. So listen here. He is a sensation to watch, okay? I love watching him every time he plays, okay? He batted 7th in that lineup for the first 6 games. What happens? Tim Anderson lands on that IL. What happens? Roberts leading off for leadoff man. And what does he have to do in that first game? He goes 4 for 6, 2 doubles, a home run, and 2 RBIs in that 11-5 victory over KC. I mean, you cannot go wrong with this guy. This guy got paid before he even played a major league inning, and he's living up to that contract. You got Dylan Cease, who improved from that first outing, which he got really rocked in that one. But Dylan Cease is looking a little promising. But like you said, your lineup is fantastic, okay? You got Luis Robert, Yoan Moncada, Eloy Jimenez, Yasmani Grandal. We can go on and on about the list. This lineup is powerful. They can hit. They can do everything they want. When the Cubs play the White Sox, it is going to be interesting on which is going to overpower the Cubs pitching or it will be the White Sox hitting. That's the question, because the Cubs pitching is way stronger than the White Sox, the rotation, starting rotation-wise. But then you guys have your bullpen. I actually like what's going on with the bullpen right now. You got a great elite closer in Alex Colomé. You got Ross Detweiler, and then you got Steve Cishak. But you got rookies now.
Who he's so
yeah, he's all right. But you got rookies now that are providing depth in there. And the other day I saw, what's his name? Cody Hewer and then Matt Foster. They seem to be pretty good. So I think the White Sox, the next time they verse the Twins or the Indians, you may see a different result.
I hope so.
Yeah, the Sox are basically exactly what we expected them to do. Yeah, they got off to a rocky start, but now they're starting to pick up their stride. I'm loving what I'm seeing, at least from what the Sox are beginning to start improving. They're on a absolute hot streak, and it doesn't look like it's going to be stopping anytime soon as they just continue. Well, I mean, Giolito has been pitching. He basically redeemed himself just like Yu Darvish in the other game, where he pitched basically a shutout with him against the Indians, who we were just talking about, who are a very, very good team. So him being back is huge for basically the Sox. And just for the rest of the players, I mean, how much else can you say about that? Your rookie, Luis Robert, whatever you want to call it. I mean, he's basically already up for Rookie of the Year, and he's looking like he might even win it so far. So the way that he's playing and having the Sox already being second in the division, I didn't expect them to be higher than the Twins. So they're basically just continuing to be right in the spot where I expected them. And I feel like they're going to be going to continue to do. They're just going to sit in that second place spot, continue to be a dark horse, continue to be a sleeper, and just basically continue to sit under people's radars. And as of now, they're just going to, looks like looking at their schedule, they have a pretty, they got to go back against the Indians. And then they have the Brewers. They got to finish off their series. And they got the Indians again, but this time it's in Chicago. And then they have that's go up to Detroit. So those Indians and Detroit games are winnable games, including the Brewers ones too. So they could definitely grab a few wins and maybe try and catch up to the Twins, start surprising some people. But for me, I feel like the Sox should continue to stay under the radar. They're having success. They're making their comeback, and Chicago baseball looking very, very great. I'm just saying.
Yeah, listen, Matt, the problem with the White Sox starting rotation here, the problem is you really only have two strong arms on there. And it's Giolito when he performs like he should be performing like an ace. And then you got Keuchel. Rodon is constantly hurt. Okay. Cease still has to build himself up. And what's the other guy? There's another guy in there. I'm forgetting. Oh, Ronaldo
Lopez, who played about 0.6 innings before absolutely destroying himself.
That is going to be the thing that will hold them down this season if they do not perform how they should be. It is the starting rotation. You cannot expect those bats to perform 10 to 12 runs a game. It won't happen. So the starting rotation needs to improve, and the White Sox will be fine. I'm telling you right now, they'll be okay.
All right. I think that concludes, I guess, our week 2 of our Chicago baseball breakdown, as I guess I'm calling it. And basically, the Chicago baseball is looking extremely well in week 2. I'm just saying both teams, Cubs are now leading division. Sox are on a 5-game winning streak. Hopefully this will continue next time we see you guys. And basically, I thank you guys for making it all the way to the end of this video. Make sure you like and subscribe. And I basically hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time.
Later.
Later.